If you were a fan of the late 60s soap opera Dark Shadows, then you probably thought Barnabas Collins was the star of the show. But did you know that Barnabas didn't even appear until 10 months into the show? Join me now as I do a deep dive into Dark Shadows, how it went from last place in the ratings to number 1, and why ABC finally canceled it on this episode of Rerun Zone. When Dark Shadows premiered on June 27, 1966, it was up against some serious competition. There were 17 other soap operas on at the time, and Dark Shadows made it 18. When it tied for 13th place out of 18 soaps in its first year, it was nothing to celebrate. The soaps beneath it were canceled by December, and Dark Shadows found itself in last place. Not a great place to be, as the show was next on the chopping block. In fact, ABC told the crew if the show didn't pick up in the next 26 weeks, it was gone. Backtrack to 1965 when series creator Dan Curtis had a dream. He dreamed of a mysterious young woman on a train. Curtis informed his wife the next day about his experience and then presented the idea to ABC as a proposed TV series. The network gave the project the go-ahead and Curtis began hiring crew members. The original story Bible, written by Art Wallace, was titled Shadows on the Wall. Dark Shadows, a more gothic-sounding title, was eventually used. Robert Costello became the line producer, and creator Dan Curtis became the executive producer. Everything was falling nicely into place. Alexandra Isles, then known as Alexandra Moltke, was discovered and cast as Victoria Winters, an orphan who travels to the strange fictional town of Collinsport, Maine, to uncover the secrets of her past. Joan Bennett, a veteran cinema star, was quickly cast as Victoria's boss, Elizabeth Collins Stoddard, a woman who hadn't left her house in over 18 years. Roger Collins, Elizabeth's widowed brother, was played by stage performer Louis Edmonds. Nancy Barrett, another stage actress, was chosen as Elizabeth's rebellious daughter Carolyn Stoddard, while child actor David Hennessy was cast as Roger's problematic son, David Collins. Many new and mysterious characters, portrayed by unknown actors and actresses, were introduced as the series progressed. Two early cast changes brought in theater stars David Ford and Thayer David. Thayer David would go on to play several more formidable villains in the series. The majority of the performers played several roles, and those characters frequently reappeared in flashbacks, parallel timelines, or as ghosts. Essex, Connecticut served as the setting for the town of Collinsport in the television series. The TV show's interior shots were shot entirely on sound stages at different ABC-owned facilities in Manhattan. Dark Shadows, which first aired in the afternoons as a half-hour gothic soap opera, is unusual on American television. The show was filmed with practically no interruptions, so it felt live even though it was not broadcast live. Only the most disastrous events would make filmmakers reshoot a sequence. The program is known for the occasional blunder, staff visible on screen, a boom mic over the players' heads, performers trying to recall their lines, or actors mispronouncing another character's name.
Yes, it's reassuring to know that there's still part of the family still alive. The portrait is missing. How unfortunate.
This just contributed to the show's dramatic feel. It was as if you were sitting in the audience, seeing a live performance of a play. But now, back to our story. Dark Shadows was on the eve of cancellation when Dan Curtis had a brainstorm. He had always wanted to make a vampire film, so he decided to introduce a vampire to the series. That vampire was actor Jonathan Frid, better known as Barnabas Collins, the reluctant vampire with a conscience. Barnabas debuted in April 1967, and the fan reaction was instantaneous. Viewers loved Barnabas. Barnabas wasn't just any ordinary vampire, though. He was a 175-year-old vampire on the hunt for new blood and his long-lost love Josette. The character, played by Canadian actor Jonathan Frid, was added to boost the show's dwindling ratings and was initially scheduled to appear for only 13 weeks. They kept him on because of his popularity and the show's rapid rise in the ratings. He became the show's star overnight. Barnabas' gradual transformation from a fearsome, frightening creature of the night into the show's hero who selflessly, bravely, and repeatedly sacrifices his life to save the Collins family from tragedy, is a defining feature of his character development. His skills are similar to those of the legendary vampire Dracula, including immortality, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, hypnosis, and the ability to turn into a bat and disappear and reappear at a whim. He has also been known to employ sorcery. When Barnabas Collins first appeared in episode number 211, the show's ratings finally began to take off and staved off its cancellation. By May 1969, Dark Shadows was ABC's most popular soap opera. By late 1969, it was averaging between 7 and 9 million viewers each day. The series' popularity peaked during a plotline set in 1897. Meanwhile, a feature film called House of Dark Shadows was being developed and released in theaters in 1970, while the show was still at its peak popularity. In the film, Barnabas Collins seeks a cure for his vampirism so that he might marry a woman who resembles his long-lost fiancée, Josette. The film was shot in 6 weeks on a $750,000 budget. The film itself was considerably more violent and graphic than its television equivalent, with bloody vampire bites and gory deaths because it was unrestricted by the TV censors. The film was launched to tremendous financial success, but many thought it hurt the TV show's popularity. A second film, originally titled Curse of Dark Shadows, was meant to reintroduce Barnabas. However, before pre-production could begin, the show had been canceled, and Jonathan Frid, fearing being typecast as Barnabas, had moved on to other projects. Instead, Night of Dark Shadows was created, centering on the arrival of the new heir Quentin Collins. When the 1897 storyline ended 9 months later, the writers were under extreme pressure to keep the audience interested. The show's following plotline, The Leviathans, was disliked by Barnabas fans, and the show never really recovered its audience. By the end of 1970, some ABC affiliate stations began to drop the show. ABC was trying to cut costs in the face of economic problems, such as a national recession and a sharp drop in advertising revenue due to the discontinuance of cigarette commercials. There were also a record high number of competing soap operas on the network's daytime schedules at the time. As a result, the network began to eliminate what they deemed as unproductive programming. Dark Shadows was targeted, mostly because of its youthful audience, who didn't make purchase decisions for home goods and food products for the family. Those were two of the primary businesses that bought advertising space on daytime television at that time. No other daytime show leaned so much towards the 18 to 35 group as Dark Shadows did. In an interview featured on a 2005 DVD release, series creator Curtis welcomed the show's termination, saying he was just hoping it was going to end. He said he couldn't squeeze his brain any harder to come up with just one more story. He just wanted to move on and out. The show's original network run lasted nearly 5 years, with 1,225 episodes. Unlike other soap operas of the day, Dark Shadows episodes were all saved in some form, except for one episode. That episode, number 1219, referred to as the Lost episode, was only available as an audio recording made by a fan at the time of broadcast. It was later reconstructed using just still images and the audio. In 1991, NBC aired a short-lived television remake of the show. The revival was a big-budget weekly serial and was a hit when introduced, but the start of the Gulf War made NBC continually preempt and reschedule episodes, and the ratings plummeted. The show was canceled after the first season, with the final episode ending on a cliffhanger. In 2004, a pilot was shot for a new revival, but the show was never picked up. There was also a 2012 film adaptation starring Johnny Depp as Barnabas, but it didn't become the major success they had hoped for. Will we ever see another incarnation of Dark Shadows? Well, in September of 2019, it was announced that the CW and Warner Brothers were developing a continuation of the original series. Then, in November of 2020, it was reported that the series was no longer being developed. Writer Mark Perry stated that the project was being retooled with the goal of resubmitting it to other networks. But even if there is never another reboot, we will still have the original run in all of its glory to watch and rewatch, and to savor the performance of the first and best Barnabas Collins, Jonathan Frid, whenever we want. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, Click the link on the screen and tune in for more classic TV and movie trivia, reviews, and retrospectives on Rerun Zone. Goodbye for now.